阿弥陀佛，世界各地的莲花童子们，大家早上好、午安、晚上吉
Amitabha,
祥。
good morning, good afternoon, good
今天是
evening.
2022
Auspicious
年
greetings
的
to all
3
Pama
月13
Kumaras
日，
around the world.
我是今天会
Today
主
is
讲
the
的莲花
13th of
论命
March,
第八
2026.
期
I'm
真
today's
谛礼证
host,
词。
um,
我们今天要
Brahma
学习
Sister
的课
Longing
程
from
是第
Brazil,
一章第3节，
Chants
梵音招
Temple,
请佛菩
and
萨
we
之
are
要
learning
诀，
part 3 of
欢
chapter
迎大
1,
家参加
Keys
今
to
天的课
Invoking
程。
Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
我们的
Welcome
课程
everyone
依
to
然有
participate in
3个节
today's class.
大家可以
Today's
在
session will
线上
be
选择
conducted in 3
华语
languages,
频
and
道、
you
英
can
语频
switch
道和
between
印尼语
the
频道。
Chinese
感谢我们的
channel
翻译
or
员
the English
英
or
文翻译员
Indonesian
平安法
interpretation.
师、印
And
尼
let's
翻译
thank
员
the
为翻译指
interpreters,
教。
um,
课后呢，我们依然会
Brahma
在
Sister
课程中
Haven on the
的
Indonesian
教学
interpretation
文书
channel.
给 copy 为
And
我
after
们，
the class,
大家可以收看课程
the
的重
lessons
播。
will
今
be
天同
uploaded
样会有
onto
11
the
节
YouTube
课的讲
channel.
解。如
There
果
is
您在
also,
学习
as
过程
usual,
中
a
有担
question
心
and
或有
answer
疑问，
section
或者
at
在
the end
没
of the
办法
class.
参
And
与
if you
练
have
习
any
中遇到了
questions,
疑问，
or if you
也欢迎
encounter
发在
any
我们
problems in
总
your
会 copy
learning and
或被
practice
测
of
报时的
Fanpai,
留言
you
区，
can post
我们
your
的工作
questions
人
in
员
the
会
Zoom
收集大
chat
家
or
的
on
疑问，再
YouTube
请
or
协谈老
Facebook,
师
and
为
our
大家一一所有的
backend
问
team
题
will
解
collect
惑。
the questions
我们非
and
常欢
post
迎您
them
在留言
to
区留言
our
回
teaching
复。
master
现在
to
有越
answer the
来越多的
questions.
同学进
And
入
I
到
see
课堂
that
了，
now there are
请
more
打
and more
开您
students
的摄
entering
像
the
头。
Zoom session.
现在您
Please turn
的
on your
影片
video
上是
camera
放
and
了
also
课号，
rename your
这样
profiles
方
with your
便
Dharma
我们和
names
大家的招
and
呼。
so that it will
我们首
be
先
allow
欢
us
迎
to say
我们今
hello
天
to
的授
everyone.
课导师
And
是
our
莲位
teacher
上
for
师。
today, Master Shi Lianwei. Let's welcome her.
接下来我看到
And
的是
also let me
我们
greet
的莲花
other
无昧助教、
students.
莲花余华助教，还有我们的翻译员佩芬助教，我们的莲花爱道助教，莲花敏轩师姐，莲花思文助教，看到我们熟悉的老钟师兄，还有新加坡的清源师姐，莲花迪旺助教，还有莲安法师，还有我们非常熟悉的敬爱的彩虹助教，莲花韵儿助教啊！我现在看到了我们的联合上师，阿弥陀佛，万事吉祥。我们的一彩讲师美芳师姐，这是目前为止有打开摄像头的，还有很多的师兄师姐还没有打开摄像头。我们欢迎大家打
These
开摄
are
像
the
头，
Dharma
这样
siblings
也
who
有
have turned
助
on
于
your
提
video
高大
camera,
家
and
上课的注
I'm
意
sure
力。
there are also many others who haven't turned on their video camera. If it's convenient for you to do so, you can
今天我们共同
do
学习
that.
的课程
And
叫做
today,
梵音招请
the
佛菩萨之要诀。
title
在
of
正
today's
式进入
class
课堂之
is
前，让我们
Keys
一
to
起
Invoking
安住
Buddhas and
身心，
Bodhisattvas through
放下外缘，
Fanpai
以一颗恭敬清
sacred
净的心来
chanting.
聆听学
And
习。
let's pay attention to the
通过
class
前
with
2
a
节课
reverent
的学
heart.
习，
In
我
the
们都
past
懂得
two
了佛门之中
classes or lessons,
唱
we
诵
learned
放
that in
拜，
Buddhism,
并不只
singing or
是声
chanting
音的技
in
巧
Buddhism
和
is
旋
not
律
just
的优
about
美，
vocal technique
更重要
or
的
how
是
beautiful the
以
melody
心
is.
为本，
More
在
importantly, it is
心中
about
所有。 梵
one's
音为
mind,
草音，
the
圣
cultivation of
语
one's mind.
是尖音。真
And
正的梵音
fun
不在
in
于
pure
声
sacred
音是
sound
否悦耳，
um,
而在于是
surpasses
否
all kinds of
由清
secular
净心所
conventional
化。
sounds, and
心
it
清净，
originates from a
则声
pure
音
heart
清
or a
净；
pure mind.
心
And when
散
the
乱，
heart or mind is
则
pure,
音
then
声
one's
难
sound
辨
is
别。
pure.
因此，学习
If
放拜
one's mind is
并非
scattered,
单
it's
纯
very
学
hard
习怎么
to
唱，而是
arrive
学习
at
如何以音摄
yogic
心，
or spiritual
以
resonance.
心显音。当
Sound
我们
can
的
allow us
心
to
念
focus or
专
converge
一、
together the
恭
mind.
敬虔
And when
诚
our
时，
minds are focused and
音
concentrated,
声自然具
the
有力
sound
量，
will
能够
naturally
众人
have
赞叹
its
诸
power.
佛， 招请
and it
圣
will
众，
be able to
摄受
invoke
大众，
all the holy
引发
beings and
正面
also
的
draw and
方
inspire
便
the
法
masses.
门。
It's a convenient or
这
skillful,
门课
expedient
程也是
means
非常殊胜的，倾
to
注
do
了我
that.
们
Our
教育
class,
团
our
队
course is
很
very
多人很多义工的心
extraordinary.
血，
It
为我
involves
们莲位
the
上师们进
combination
行
of
备课。
the efforts of
我
many,
们
many
非
volunteers
常期
behind the
望我们每
scenes,
一个人
as
都
well
可以
as our
非常
Master
恭
Lian
敬的
Wei's
心，
teaching.
很
So
珍
we
惜
hope
的
that
心来
everyone
学习这门课
can
程。
learn with a respectful or reverent heart and cherish the teachings.
现在这里上课时间还有5分
The
钟，
time is now 5 minutes away
大家
from
可
the
以
start of the
回
class.
顾一下
You
我们
can
上一节课学习的
review or
内容。
try to revise
不
the
知道大家
content
回
from the
去都有
previous
没有
lessons.
去
I
复
wonder
习？
if everyone
前
did
2节
your
课
homework
主
or
要是
revision
理论，
after the
但也
classes,
是
the
我
past
们
two
接下
classes.
来
The previous
实践
lessons were
的基
theoretical,
础。
and soon afterward, we will have practical lessons based on these theory classes.
哦，对了，提醒大家一下，下个
Master
星
Lian
期
Wei
五
would
要
like to
停课一
remind
次，
everyone
因为
there
要
will
继
not
续
be
老师
any
在教
class
室做
next
法
Friday
会，
because we will be
跟大家
attending
说一下。
Grandmaster's Dharma ceremony in Seattle.
阿弥陀佛，大家听到莲位上师刚才讲话吗？对，下
Did
一周
everyone
会有
hear
很多人，
Master
莲位
Lian
上
Wei's
师
announcement?
他也会去
Because
西雅
next
图
week a lot of people
去
will
朝
be
圣
going
了，
to
所以
Seattle,
下一周
and
就
also
停
Master
课
Lian
一
Wei will
次。
also be going
下一
to
周
the
很多
US
的工作
to
人员也都
so
去
that
朝
will
圣了，
the
最
class
近
will
很多的
be
同盟也去西雅
paused.
图。下周5的课
So
程
there is no
暂
class
停。
next Friday.
接下来大家如果愿意的话，可以把您上节课学习的印象最深的内容写
If
出
you would
来，
like
发在
to,
留
you
言
can
区，和
also
大家一起
write
分享。
down your insights
那下周
from
5虽然我们没
last
有
from the
上
last
这个
lesson.
放拜课程，
Although
我
there is
们
no
会有
Fan
网
Bai
络同
class
修，
next
在
Friday,
这个
we will
时间
have an
点
online group cultivation
长寿
during
佛
this
念
time
诵
period.
法
It will be the
来替代我
Amitayus
们
Buddha or
这
Longevity
个
Buddha
上放拜
recitation
的课
Sudana
程的时间
that will
安排。
be a replacement for the class.
谁还记得我们上节课学习的重点内容？
Does anyone remember the key points from the previous lesson?
愿意的话，您可以写在我们的
You
留
can
言
type
区，
it in
和大
the
家
Zoom
一起
chat
分享，
to
回
share
顾一
your
下。
insights with everyone so that we can do a quick revision of what we learned.
《因身修行的核心原理》，这是我们后面所有课程的
Yeah.
基础啊。老宗师兄说了，心不颠
Okay,
倒
I
是
see
体不
someone
顿
typing
然，
in
无所得，
when one's heart is
放
not
在心
inverted.
上。
This is the state of
谢谢老宗师兄分享自
shamatha,
己的心得。
remembering nothing to be gained.
好多好多，谢谢
Someone
姐
else
姐，
also typed in
都很棒。现在有
using
多位都非
relying
常
on
非常
sound
的
to enter vipassana,
有
relying
声有
on
观，有
form
相
or
有
aspect
光，
to
随
enter
文有观。
vipassana, or relying on text, the supplication text of words or language to enter vipassana.
止观，
Someone else also wrote
对，其实我们的
single-minded
在练习声明的过
concentration
程
or
也可
focus.
以练习止观。
And if one doesn't understand, has little comprehension,
放
the
摆同样可以
effect
摄持三
will be
业，
very
略
small
清
or
净。
minimal.
好，现在是8点整，
And the
我
time
们的
is
课
now
程正
8
式开
p.m.
始。
sharp.
让我们一起手结
So let us
莲花
formally
和这首
begin
歌，
the class and
持
let's
咒
form the
根本
Brahma
上师
Kumara
心咒祈愿，
mudra and let's
祈
recite
请
our
根本
Guru's
上师
heart mantra 7
加持
times to
今
pray
日
for
的
his
课
great
程顺
lineage
利圆
blessing
满。
for today's class to
持
be
咒
auspicious and perfect.
Om Guru Lien Song Siddhi Hum. 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 接下来，那我们在留言
And
区
now
打
let
上
us
888，
in
那
the
里欢
chat
迎我们
type
今
in
天的上课
888to
老师是
welcome
莲位上
to
师
warmly
为我
welcome
们
our
授
teaching
课。
master, Master Shi Lian Wei to teach the class.
请大家合掌，一心祈请根
Let
本
us put our
上
palms
师
together
大圣
and
真
wholeheartedly
全部
pray
在
for
我
our
的祖
Grandmaster
先祖师
and the blessing of
本
our
尊
TBSOU
为
lineage
佛，
gurus,
祈请加持
Idams, Dharmapalas.
今
We
日
pray for
授
your
课吉祥圆满，
blessing for
佛
today's
念
class to be
顺遂
auspicious
圆
and
满。
perfect,
好，
and
阿
for
弥陀
Dhamma
佛，
siblings
大
to
家好，
receive the
各个
teachings
莲花
properly.
上师、各位法师、
Um,
讲师、助
greetings
教、
to
师
Master
父师长，
Lianhe,
大家早。
Dhamma propagators, and all
不
Dhamma
好意思，
siblings.
我感
Good
冒，所
evening.
以声音
Apologies, I
不
caught
是
a
很
cold,
好听。
so my
总
voice is
之，
not very
好，我们现在
pleasant
就开
to
始上今天
tonight.
的
But
课，
in any
也
case,
就
let's
是
start
如
today's
何让我
class,
们的招
which
请
is
能
how
够
to allow
经
our
上，就
invocation
是
to
达到招请佛菩萨的要诀。
be
好，下一位。
enhanced. What are the keys to
之
invocation?
前刚
Next
主持
slide.
人也有介绍哈，
Just now,
招
our
请呢，
MC
我们
also
招请佛
introduced
菩萨的时候，
when
不
we
是
invoke
用
Buddhas
声
and
音，
Bodhisattvas,
而是
we're not
用
just
我们
using
的心
sound,
来做招
but
请。
we're using our
所
minds or
谓
our
梵
hearts.
音、海潮音、圣彼世间
So
音，
what
也就
is
是说，
this
真正
phrase
的
about is
法音
pure sacred Dharma sound
能够摄受散乱，净
is
化心
able
念。
to
那这
convert
种声
scattered
音远
thoughts
远超过
into
世
a
间的
focused
声
mind,
音。上
and
次有
the
让大
the
家
sound
听见这
generated
个周围的声
surpasses
音，
all kinds
在
of
这边
secular
这
sounds
边
in the
是
world, secular worldly
不好
sounds.
听的声音，
So
没有
if
清
you
澈。
have paid attention
持
to
心
the
的
sounds
心，
around you, like tonight,
谢谢，你人很
my
好。
sound is not
OK， 好。
very
总之
pleasant.
今天
Okay,
呢，
and
我
the
们会
MC
先从3
said,
个
oh,
地
it's
方
a
开始介
very
绍。第一
compassionate
个
sound.
是持咒的问
And
题，
Master Wei
第
said,
二
is
个
wonder
是
you're very
诵
kind.
经跟拜忏
So
礼佛，还有唱
anyway,
赞祭的时候，我们
when
到
we
底要
sing
怎么做
praises,
才可以
how
越
do
顺？
we do
因为一
this?
般
How
大
do
家在
we
唱
carry
诵
it
的时
out
候，
with a focused mind?
好像
Because
都没
when
有
we
把心
are
放
singing
进
or
去。
chanting, a lot of
那我
people
们要
don't
了解这个
put
梵
their
音，
minds into their
所以
chanting.
要先来看一看什么
So
叫做名义上什么叫做梵
what
音跟和雅
exactly
音，
does
然后也
fan
为
in
找
or
师尊的
harmonious
缘起，
and graceful sound
能
refer
让大
to?
家
And we are
了
also
解什
referring
么叫做
to
内在音，
Grandmaster's
什么叫做
discourses
咒音、
or
咒
writings
音。
to
当大
understand
家
what
在
is
念
mantra
经
sound
持
and
咒的
what
时
is
候，应
Brahma
该是
sound.
要怎么
When we
样
recite
来
mantras,
做。
what kind of
下一页。
methods should we use?
梵拜之意，这个
Next
在第一
slide.
堂课我们已经都讲
The
过。
meaning
梵
of
指的是清
fan
净、
by this we
离
covered in the
染
first
无异
lesson.
的心
Fan
行，
is pure
以清净
and
心为本。
with
梵
a
声有
pure
5
heart
个，我
as the
们再复习
foundation.
一
It
次：
has
正直、
5
和雅、
virtues.
清
So
澈、深
upright,
满、遍
harmonious
周
and
永恒。
graceful, clear, deep
这
and
个
full,
声音是
pervasive or
我们
universal.
内在
These sounds
境界
are
所
the
显发出
outward
来的声
expression
音，
of
所
our
以我
inner
们重在
realization
的
or
是
inner state.
内心。
So what is most important
所以
is
在
our inner
发出
state,
声音的时候，
the
用这个
cultivation
梵
of
音
our
来
minds,
摄我们的
and
心，
using that
把我们的
sound
心收
to
摄起来，能够专一
gather
为
our
止。
minds
然
to so
后
they
再以
can
我
become
们内在
focused,
的清净跟
and
专
then
一
from
显
that pure
发
inner
到外
state,
面来的声
it will
音。
be
好，
manifested
下一页。
externally.
我们先谈一下师尊到底
So
怎
let
么讲
us
什么是
first
梵
see
音，
what
里面
Grandmaster has
是
written
怎么达
about
到梵音。
fan
刚
in
刚有
or
讲
Brahma
过，
sound
为什么
or
清
pure
净的
sacred
声音
sound.
可以感通
You
佛菩
mentioned
萨？
just now, why is it possible for
持
pure
咒
sacred
为什么
sound
可以
to
相 相应等
result in spiritual or yogic resonance or response or union. And there are three articles. The first is about inner sound. The second is about universal sound or sound of the cosmos. And the third article is about 64 kinds of Brahma sound. The first article, Grandmaster said that those who want to learn meditation need to start from listening to the inner sound. At the extreme quiescent state, you can hear the sound of the fluids within yourself, your body, your heartbeat, your breathing. What is most valuable is to hear your inner breathing, even the vibrations of your mental waves, your brain waves, frequencies, and the projection of those mental frequencies and the receiving of those frequencies is listening to inner sound. When you hear these sonic frequencies, they can generate a response within your body and result in Brahma sound and mantras. Why do we need to recite mantras when cultivating tantric dharma? Let me first state, the first time you read this, you might not be able to digest this content. After 3 times, if you're still not able to digest, it's because it's very profound. So, this article from book 49, chapter 10, if it's hard for you to digest, go back and read it a couple of times. It's quite hard, so you need to put in more effort to understand or comprehend. Why do we need to recite mantras when cultivating Tantric Dharma? Relying on these vibrations or frequencies, these are the sounds of our consciousness within our bodies. Whether you call it consciousness or brain frequencies, brain waves, or sound frequencies, what does mantra do? The consciousness within our bodies and the sound of mantras, they will respond to each other and interact with each other. When we recite mantra, our deepest consciousness need to perform its function. You need to have two pieces that are magnetic to have that effect. If there is magnetic frequencies, but your mind is empty when you recite the mantra, like Om Karo Nisha Siddham. When it's empty and hollow mantra recitation, when your consciousness is not engaged, the energy is very limited. That power is very limited. And that energy of yourself communicates with that cosmic energy. When there is reciprocal interaction, the external cosmos, that energy in the universe, you're calling upon that energy of cosmic energy. So we are increasing the power of or energy capacity of our consciousness. Grandmaster has talked about brain waves, the energy, the capacity of power, but Grandmaster didn't describe what is the meaning of mantra. So maybe all of you know, mantras are not usually translated, but people are curious. We want to know, what does Om Ha 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 Ve Sama Yesu mean, right? Keshigarbha Bodhisattvas heart mantra, what does it mean? Or Medicine Buddha's heart mantra, what exactly does it mean? So, have you discovered that when you are reciting mantra, you have placed emphasis on the wrong point? When I saw this article, I was also, it made a deep impression on me. I felt it deeply because what is most important is the frequency of that mantra, of that sound. And you're at the same time paying attention to your inner state, your inner self, that sonic frequency, sound wave, you pay attention to its pace, and that when the pace is different, the sonic frequency is different. There are also short mantras, long mantras. If you don't pay attention to its rhythm, its frequency, then you are not able to achieve its effect or its function. So this is a common problem in mantra recitation or mantra chanting. So this slide, when we recite these sounds, our minds or our consciousness, our hearts, that will also vibrate. You can't just recite mantras with your mouth, but without heart. You have to use your consciousness to generate those vibrations. And when you have that mind power, then you're able to project that energy into the cosmos and result in that yogic union with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So mantras are a key to awakening or calling up upon the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So here I requested for the volunteer to help increase the size of this slide, the text on this slide. So the key, so as mentioned, you need to have two pieces that are magnetic for the function, the effect to occur. You can't just have one piece, one of magnetic material. So when some people recite mantras, they recite it in a machine-like way. This kind of cultivation is futile or it does not have any effect because you have not felt its sonic frequency and your consciousness is not resonating with the cosmos. So that sound is very hollow, empty. In order to feel the effect of the mantras, you need to recite it with your mind so that the mantra syllables open up. And with the deepest mind or intention, you're calling upon the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. If your consciousness is not being applied, you will not be able to attain yogic union or spiritual response with the deities. This is the greatest key, as well as the greatest problem regarding mantra chanting. The purpose, the function or the emphasis, key point is not about what the mantra means. So the sound waves of the mantra are resonating with the self nature that is mentioned here refers to Buddha nature. Our Buddha nature is hibernating, is in a state of hibernation. So through the method of mantra chanting, we're awakening it. We're causing it to come alive. We're awakening it from slumber. So it's the sonic frequency, the sound waves, when we are singing praises or chanting, the main problem is chanting without heart or without mind, without touching our deepest consciousness. And this will not result in the effect of cultivation. Without touching the heart or mind or your deepest consciousness, then how can it be called spiritual cultivation of the mind? So for chanting to result in spiritual resonance or yogic union, how we use the mind is a key point. If you don't use your deepest consciousness, this is one of the key points of tonight's class, to alert everyone to pay attention to this point. Because our class time is very limited tonight, I can only go over very quickly. The text in red, when the sound of the cosmos enters or permeates your bloodstream into the liquids in your body, causing the sounds in your body to be on the same frequency or wavelength as the sounds in the universe, the same rhythms, and your soul or your spirit is able to merge with the highest consciousness. This is when the three secrets merge, become one. When we recite Om, when I recite it, when you recite it, you have to recite it into your deepest consciousness, into your mind, into your body, not just recite it with your mouth. When I talk about rhythm and frequency or wave, Grandmaster has also corrected us in the past regarding Ragaraja's mantra. One time he heard a mantra.
OK，诗人说不是，
And Grandmaster said, no,
扎之轰热。
it should be.
你们有听到我那个扎之有停顿吗？轰。
Have you heard that's a pause?
轰热，不是轰扎之
轰
轰热轰
扎之
OK， 所以这个
轰热。
节奏跟频
So
率
the
还有它的音
rhythm of the
波
mantra and its
不一样哦。
frequency, its sonic frequencies are
所以我
different
们持
from
咒的
home
时
touch
候，
home run.
第一
It's
个要
different.
注意每
So
一个字，比如说 om 啊 home 这三个字，一般是
the three
长音
syllables
比较
om,
长，
home.
其他的咒字
Usually
短
they are
音的都
recited
是长音，所以我们要去注意长音跟短
in
音
a
会影
longer
响音
manner,
波跟频率。
and
再来
how
节奏
long you
快
recite each
对
mantra
不对
syllable will also affect the
轰扎之
mantra.
轰热轰扎之轰热，
And next
不
is
好
the
意思
pace
哈
of the
这是
mantra.
为了要示范，
So
可以
apologies,
慢
this is
慢的
a
念
negative
扎
example.
之轰热
Home touch home run
扎之
versus
轰热，你要
the
念
slower
到意识
chanting.
里面去才有用，
You
不是
have to
念
recite
很
it
多遍，
into so
念
that it
一个
becomes
名号，
embedded
最
in
近
your
又念
deep
了2万
consciousness.
遍，
It's not about I have recited
总之
20,000
重
times
点是
today.
那
It's
一
not
个
about
咒是要
how
实
fast
心的，念
quickly you
到
can
意
recite
识
it.
里面
The
去，
key point
这个
is
是第
the
一
mantra
个持
chanting
咒的
needs to
重
be
要观念，
substantial.
不要搞错方
It
向，
is an
不要
important
冤枉。
perspective or toward mantra chanting.
我们直接
Don't
跳2页，跳
be
到那
don't
个
go in the wrong
64
direction, or
是
else
4种
it would
梵
be
音。
a great
刚
pity.
刚那一本
The
书
next
是
article
在
about
节奏跟频率是在
the
060
previous
无
article
音
was
别有天，梵音就是胡音，这个
was
大
from
家
book
有兴趣
60,
再多去
and if
看。
you are interested, you can look at it more.
再来这
Um,
64个梵音是给
the
大家
next
上课
article
参
is
考的
about
重点部分。
64 kinds of Brahma
我们除
sound
了
or
知道
fan
5
in.
种清外，
Apart from the
老师们
5
在这个
virtues of
这本
fan
书
by Grandmaster,
OK
in this book,
086
in this
光明
article,
腾辉里面
book
012文章水
86,
忏法会的传
chapter
记师
12,
尊有谈到，它有64
meditation
种梵
from
音。
the
我
water
们在唱
repentance
诵的
Dharma
时候，这些
ceremony.
要去注意。
He
照
wrote
着
or
节奏，我
described
们用
the
听的
64
越
kinds
柔
of
短
sound
越
Brahma
硬，
sound. So
亲
I'll
近
just skim
离
over it.
垢
Is
圆
your sound
满
gentle,
甘美
departed from
调顺
defilements? Is it
悦耳
mellifluous?
让人
Is it
欣喜
pleasing to the ear?
无
Does
乐
it
道
generate
无效
joy?
令有教
Does it
化的
allow
利
you
益
to depart from
令生欢
afflictions?
喜
Does it
令
have
他
the
无教
is it
令
able to give rise
令
to the
他
function
善
of
了知
teaching
这是
Dharma
我们在学
and
佛佛法的
causing
开
others
始
to arise
不动摇身
to give
且
rise to
净身
insights
性
or
解
have an
脱
understanding of the
无
Dharma?
现身具足身
Is
庄
it
严
able
身
to
OK， 所以这个是我们如果有
fulfill
内证的话
all?
出来的声音，
If your
那我们
sound
再继
has
续看
inner
这个是
resonance,
属于哪一种声音。所
we
以
can also look at
我们
which
刚
kind
讲
of
那
sound,
一节泛
what
音
kind
就
of
是
sound
内
should we
在音。
emit or produce?
如果你用对
So
的方
fan
法
in
持
is
咒，
inner sound.
你用
If
的
you use
是
the right
用你的
kind
意
of
识
mantra chanting
亲近
method,
的
you
声
have
音，
used
就
your
会感
deepest
到从
consciousness,
上。我们
pure
持咒的
sacred
咒
sound
语
will
才可
able
以
to
跟
move Buddhas and
本尊
Bodhisattvas,
相
and
应。
your mantra
下
chanting
一章
will be able
梵
to
音的
achieve a
运
state
用，
of spiritual resonance or yogic
Chants
union with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
以就是用唱的啦，以咏唱
When
招
we
请
sing or
赞叹
chant
佛菩萨
invocation
的
or praise
实
the
物。
virtues
梵
of
音之
the
所以能
deities,
感通相应，根本在
the
于声
reason why Fan
音
In is
的
able
兴
to
起，
move
就
the
是根据
Bodhisattvas is
心
because
意识。
the
讲
sound
深一点的话，
is an
就
expression
要
of
讲到
one's inner
灵
state.
气去了。
And if we
有内
go
在
much
音，
deeper, we will end up talking
有
about
意识的声音，
Yogacara.
脑波的声音，
Um,
耳智泛
we talk
起，
about brain
再
frequencies,
接着
brain
跟
waves.
外面的宇宙音去相契， 这一种修持就具备了以
It's
形摄
interaction with
心，
the
再由
sounds in the
心
cosmos.
对外来显生。好，这个多讲几次，大家就很容易懂了。
I
第一
might
次听的
repeat
人
a
就
few
会
more
比较
times
易
so
懂。
that it'll
好，
be
接
easier
下
for you
来
to
我们
absorb.
就
The
要
first time I mentioned it, it might be hard for you to understand or
介绍
comprehend.
给大家，就是怎
And
么样。
next,
既
let
然讲
me
这个心跟
introduce
这个意识，
how do
实力
we
很
rely on our mind or heart, or the power of our minds. How do we, in our process of spiritual cultivation, increase that power of our minds, our consciousness, our thoughts and intentions? One of the methods is to use singing, singing, chanting. Why do we use melodic chanting to invoke? Because, or in Dhamma ceremonies or assemblies, Grandmaster has sung the Buddha name of Amitabha Buddha or Golden Mother, or mantras. Grandmaster has sometimes sung the mantras because when we use singing or melodic versions of uh, it will it will generate a different level of invocation power or a different level of focusing or concentrating our mind. 10, 20 years ago, I once heard Grandmaster at Taiwan Lizang Temple when he was invoking the Buddha's Bodhisattvas. He used Taiwanese dialect to sing, especially when invoking Golden Mother of the primordial Qigong. And in 2024, he demonstrated the thousand Dharma vessels deliverance. He sang this Namo Amitabha and Pama Sambhava Mantra. He also sang it. So in the recent sessions, maybe he didn't, but it means that melodic chanting or singing does have an effect of enhancing that invocation or strengthening that invocation. Why does melodic chanting enhance invocation and praise? The key is concentrating on focusing our minds. So letting our aspirations become more sincere and true, authentic. In this other article, the Mahamudra and Samadhi, whether listening to sound or reciting mantra, it can allow us to focus our minds and seize scattered thoughts, learn how to focus our minds, gather our minds. If your mind is continually interrupted by discursive thoughts, then the level of your spiritual cultivation will not be very effective. So we need to listen to sound to enter a quiescent state. Some people use Brahma chanting or as a way for oneself to enter a quiet state, and they play mantra sound or sutra chanting recordings to allow them to concentrate and focus their minds from many converging to one, and then from one transforming to zero to enter samadhi. If they stop playing the mantra sounds or sutra chanting, they will also naturally be able to enter samadhi later on. Why melodic chanting? The melodies can gather the mind and allow the aspiration to become more sincere. For instance, when we sing the supplication for Buddha to remain the Saha world, in group cultivation, a lot of times people just recite this supplication. However, is there emotion? You can't feel it. I can't say completely no, but the power is very limited. So, does it have an effect? Because we are cultivating our minds. If there is no effect on your mind or your heart, then it doesn't have a very strong effect, and Grandmaster is not able to feel our sincerity. However, during Dharma ceremonies, when we sing, if I recite it, I will definitely not cry. However, when there is music, then when you add on the instrumental background music, I would tear and I will have to magnify the text or make it enlarge the text so that because I'm afraid that my blurry vision will not allow me to see the words clearly. When you add in a melody, like for instance a love letter, the text by itself, but then when you add in the melody, it has a different feeling. It will evoke that emotion and you would cry. Maybe when you read it, that's no feeling, but then when you add in the music, it's different. And when you add in harmonious and graceful music, Grandmaster has also taught in the past. I don't know whether you remember, the Buddha's Bodhisattvas are in a state of deep meditation, and in general, ordinary practitioners are not able to invoke them to exit from their samadhi and descend. However, if you use singing to invoke them, then maybe you have a chance to invoke them to move them to emerge from samadhi and descend. I have also taught at the Buddhist college. I cited this example many years ago. There was a report of a patient in a coma or in a vegetative state, vegetable state, and someone sang a charity performance. This person who was in a vegetable state actually opened his or her eyes. So the power of the sound can be so powerful. Melodic chanting makes it a lot easier to invoke the Buddha's Bodhisattvas. And the third point is music can help us to improve memory. If you try to memorize words, sometimes it's very difficult. However, when you add in melodies, for example, a love song, you can sing it many times. Even after 30 years, you remember how it sounds. What does this mean? When we, during a Dharma ceremony or assembly, or a heart mantra that you like, music that you like, it doesn't just enter your ears, it will become imprinted in your hearts. And then even in your dreams or when you are at the transiting state into the bardo state, you will be able to remember the sound. And we also remember that our left brain is in charge of logic and cognition or reasoning, but the right side of our brain governs the emotions or art. And then next, let's talk about mantra sounds. Apart from how mantras are, we not only have to stop thinking about what the mantras mean, but focus on its energy, its frequency. In the past, I also got it wrong, but then only later I realized the deviation, or I wouldn't say it's a mistake. Modern standards of harmonious and elegant or graceful chanting. I'm not talking about the mantras of Dharmapalas, Dharma protectors, but about Buddha's Bodhisattvas, because how should I put it? What kind of sound should I produce that will be aligned or match the sound of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? They are compassionate and gentle, and if we insist on then this would not be aligned or match the frequency of Pamakumara. You're using too much force. So when we sing a chant, this harmonious and graceful doesn't just mean pleasant sound, but it means how does it pacify the minds of sentient beings? Does it allow us to give rise to upright thoughts or correct thoughts? when we use harmonious and graceful sounds in the Amitabha Sutra, we see that in the Pure Land of Ultimate Bliss, the birds would sing Dharma sounds of the 37 factors of enlightenment. So harmonious and graceful sound is not just pleasant to hear, but it also teaches Dharma. And when we hear celestial sound that is harmonious and graceful, true Dharma sound, it can allow us to progress in spiritual cultivation. It's not weak, but it's about the virtues of the deities. The next slide. Some deviations in mantra chanting. This is what I demonstrated earlier. Forceful chanting versus something that is more gentle and peaceful for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. During a Dharma ceremony, I forgot whether it was a ceremony or group cultivation practice, a certain kind of Pama Kumara heart mantra music, maybe it was at Rinpo Temple. It gave him a headache because it sounded like it was being hit with a mallet or a at that time, I stayed in Seattle for a longer time, maybe 2 or 3 months. It was not the first time he mentioned this. Even before this, he had mentioned it several times. He said, Brahma Kumara is not so fierce. I will do a demonstrate, and if it happens to coincide with the way you recite it, please don't be angry because this is what Grandma has taught. And after he pointed it out, then we were able to improve. So it's don't take it personally. It's to correct our mistake.
Om Guru Liên Sinh Siddhi Hop, Om Guru Liên Sinh Siddhi Hop, Om Guru Liên Sinh Siddhi Hop, Om Guru Liên Sinh。宣讲，对不对？
So Grandmaster said, Pama Kumara is not so forceful or fierce. When have we seen Grandmaster speak so forcefully, or he's usually unhurried and steady? But some people still don't quite understand what Grandmaster means, and they still recite. They still use this version of mantra to welcome masters at ceremonies. And for instance, I went to officiate a Dharma ceremony, and the person was sounding the drum with such force that my heart hurt. Not just my head hurt, but my heart hurt because the frequency of the presiding deity, the main deity of the ceremony, is not so powerful or forceful. So when we recite mantras, we need to pay attention to whether is it overly forceful, powerful, and is it a mismatch with the main deity that you're invoking? Some people think that it needs to be even more forceful so that it's more powerful. But let me ask everyone, does Amitabha Buddha does he use force to guide sentient beings, or does he use compassion? There was a disaster, there was a hurricane in Taiwan, there was a mudslide, and the whole village was buried alive, 400 over casualties. And Taiwan Lizang Temple had an Amitabha Dhamma ceremony to do bridal deliverance. I happened to be the cantor or chant leader. The casualties are in a state, the spirits, the bridal beings are in a state of unease. If we use mantra that is so forceful, don't you think they will be scared to death? And I mean, they'll be terrified and not want to come over. So Amitabha Buddha has a very So to comfort them, to comfort the Bardo beings, let's invite Amitabha Buddha to bless you. It's all right. It's okay. I was very especially gentle and um, gentle in my mantra chanting. So you need to pay attention to who is the main deity of your Dharma ceremony. And the virtues of sound originate from one's inner state, the state of one's mind. That reverence for Amitabha Buddha, it's not about how powerful or resonant or how loud your mantra sound or Dharma instruments are. It was almost like metallic music, and I felt really uncomfortable. So metal sound like heavy metal. So it's about the inner state, the your mind. In the Kishigarbha Sutra, the sublime, wonderful sound encompasses compassionate sound, the sound of equanimity, sound of liberation, the sound of non-leakage without afflictions, wisdom sound. These sounds are able to express the inner realization achieved by Buddha's Bodhisattvas. And in the Emperor of Non-Repentance, it also mentions comforting sentient beings, the power to comfort or offer solace to sentient beings. So the emphasis is on um, the function of delivering, guiding sentient beings is on offering them comfort and causing them to become enlightened. So when we lead group cultivation sessions, similarly, we need to listen we need to hear sounds that are harmonious and elegant or graceful, whether for Dharma ceremonies or group cultivation, the sound is gentle, um, or is it fierce, forceful? What is its purpose? Is it able to gather the minds of sentient beings, make it easier for them to follow the sound, or does it cause them to feel very anxious or have a headache or their hearts hurt? And is it aligned with the virtues and merits of the Buddha's Bodhisattvas? Is the state, um, is it does it match the context of the ceremony? Like for Bardo's deliverance, does it offer them comfort? So these are some problems of mantra chanting. The next point regarding deviations in commonly observed phenomena or deviations regarding mantra chanting. What is the difference first between mantra chanting and Buddha names? If we say 定光或 Samadhi like Buddha, it's different from mantras, which are about the frequency of the sounds. It's not about exactly about what it means. So the first question or the first problem, visualization and mantra chanting are occurring simultaneously. Some might think there's nothing wrong with this. Like every time when I'm reciting mantra, I visualize Grandmaster. When I recite the Pama Kumara mantra, when after learning for so long, haven't we talked about single-minded focus when you are reciting mantra and visualizing? This is actually multitasking because you haven't allowed the sound to fully enter your minds, to merge with your deepest consciousness, and your visualization is also not solid. How can it be very clear you're not able to do either one properly? So this is a very big problem with mantra chanting. So Grandmaster has taught first visualize, then chant mantra. After mentioning it for so many times, we still have not fulfilled this. We still do it simultaneously. Grandmaster has written this, but we did not understand. So, and this is the state of things. So when So when we are trying to focus on every single sound and let it imprint on our hearts or our minds, feel its vibrations, its frequencies, every single sound. There are 6 syllables in the Amitabha mantra. Every sound, every sound, you need to follow every single sound. And to self-reflection or examine yourself, when we listen to our own mantras, also pay attention to whether our mantras, does it contain compassion or is it hollow, empty, like a machine? Does it contain loving kindness, gentleness, or is there anger, or is there ill will in the sound? And we can pay attention and adjust our mental state accordingly, because the mantras are manifestation of our inner state. The second deviation, commonly observed phenomena, is that the visualization is very careless. If you cultivate too fast, it's like you're dabbing soy sauce. I like to use this phrase, dabbing soy sauce. You visualize the great ocean and then the moon dust. Everything appears. You're just dabbing very quickly. Which visualization was solid? Let me ask. But this is how the liturgy or Sirana was written, instructs. Then let me ask, does this really allow you to enter into the deity or allow the deity to enter into the practitioner? It's not just about reciting the Sirana or just following the steps. Have you truly become the Yidam deity? There's no feeling. Where exactly is the Yidam deity? When you have not finished visualizing emptiness, you have not even visualized. I remember one time Grandmaster mentioned during a practice at Seattle Xianxin Temple. I have not finished visualization, but you're already many steps forward for ahead. A lot of Si or cantors or chant leaders, their voices are hollow because they have not engaged their deepest consciousness. They have not used their mental power. They have not even finished visualizing emptiness, and the idam has already appeared. It's like every step is like dabbing soy sauce, and then which if you do it this way, have you truly gathered your mind, focused your mind? It's very difficult because we are trying to rely on visualization to focus our minds. When we listen to radios in the early days, previously, you have to tune the frequencies to the right channel so there'll be sound. If our brain frequencies have not attuned to the right channel, it is not the same frequency as that of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. How do you how do you perform rule, which is the deity entering into the practitioner or the practitioner entering into the deity? So we have to do it in a refined way. We have to adjust ourselves. So you shouldn't do it so quickly and carelessly. And think that this will allow you to merge with the deity, the idam. After hearing this, do you feel very despair or despondent? I once, at one point when I first realized this, I was very despondent and in despair because I felt I had wasted a few years of cultivation. It's okay. As long as we're still alive, we still have chance and time to correct or improve. In book 275, The Path to Liberation, Grandmaster has mentioned a lot of group cultivations are very brief, so brief that it cannot be any more brief. But if they truly wish to attain yogic union or spiritual resonance, they need to cultivate in a refined manner to allow visualization and mantra chanting to gradually become more and more solid and substantial. So visualize very clearly the Idam deity descending to your top of your crown. Then you need to tune the frequencies um, by using mantra chanting, relying on this mantra frequencies to adjust our brain frequencies, our brain waves. We have to use our deepest consciousness, our minds to coordinate. You can't do it in an empty or hollow manner. If you don't do it 108 times, at least do it a few more times so that it's more properly. I shouldn't tell you that I don't repeat it 108 times. In any case, you can't just skip or do it carelessly. Like if very briefly the deity goes to the top of your crown and then enters you, and or that blessing purification of our bodies, then merging to us, purifying the karma of our body, speech, and mind, or clearing our healing our illnesses. All of these visualizations is the lotus really at your heart chakra, that the pearl of light at your heart chakra, although it's very small, but it is within our bodies, it's emitting powerful, brilliant light. You have to visualize it clearly and then recite mantra 180 times to make it solid, make it really substantial. And then after that, you visualize the idam gradually expanding to become the same size as you. Visualize it very clearly. For example, Rukru Yoga, you wear a grandmaster, what color of dragon vest is he wearing, the mala beads that he's wearing, and then you recite the mantra and then visualize yourself becoming as vast as the universe and then recite mantra 108 times. It is definitely or absolutely not dabbing soy sauce. This will not allow you to enter into your idam. Have you not noticed? How come you've done it for 20 years and you have not entered you have not entered into the idam is not entered into you. It's because your visualization or your mantra chanting has not hit the mark. So this is a key point of um, actual practice. So um, in any case, you need to gradually make your cultivation more solid and substantial and really fulfill. If even Grandmaster is not able to follow the speed of the cantor or chant leader, um, some people invoke in this way. I nearly fainted. They recited it so quickly, and also in supplication, they recited it hurriedly. I tried my best to chase after or follow along, but you're causing everyone to not be able to catch up with your invocation because you're just following the form. You have not truly used your heart, your mind, your consciousness. This is a troublesome, a key point. If you, I can't say, if your visualization is already not clear and you are a little worried, you can pause your mantra recitation, then visualize again. Pamakumar, visualize clearly. Or if you've already transformed to Pamakumar, then try to make your visualization even a little clearer and then carry on mantra. So it's repeated practice of these steps to allow us to adjust our frequencies, our energies, our aura or magnetic field, so that it becomes closer to that of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to the deities. If your frequency or channel is still very far away from that of the deities, how are you going to result or arrive at yogic union? or spiritual resonance. The third, deviation or commonly observed flaw or shortcoming. Some people, because they want to hit the mark of 8 million Pamakumara heart mantras, they recite it in that manner. And this very hurried way of reciting mantra, this kind of sound, is so anxious, is Pamakumara so anxious? Is Pamakumara Amitabha so anxious or so hurried? How are you going to be aligned with the deity, to be in yogic union or achieve spiritual resonance? It has no effect on your mind, your heart. I saw a Dharma sibling saying, Grandmaster gave a discourse. He mentioned if you recite mantras so quickly, then your breath would also be very quick and hurried. And if your mind is so anxious or hurried, hasty, then you will not be able to enter meditation. So when we do things, don't let it stay at the superficial state, just to stay in the form, this, the formalistic stage. And some people hit the counter very quickly. It's very hard for you to generate light. Another way of a way of correcting to align your energy with that of the deities. Let me also share that when we are chanting mantra, a lot of it ends with soha or om or the seed syllable say. Grandmaster has also mentioned that soha means perfect completion or fulfillment. However, it is slightly different from the aspirations of the deities. For example, when reciting the Medicine Buddha Heart Mantra, your soha, what does it mean? You are aspiring that all beings, not just yourself, Medicine Buddha's vow is wishing that all sentient beings are healthy in body and mind. You have to be able to generate that same kind of aspiration or vow. Or reciting the mantra of Kishigarbha Bodhisattva. This time, the Kishigarbha, the Soha, means that all beings are able to depart from the hell realms. So it's slightly different. This will help us to use our mental power, the power of our hearts, to generate a function or effect. So then your cultivation will be successful. The next slide. Okay, so let's talk about sutra chanting and the keys to invoking Buddhas. For example, in hiking Avalokiteshvara Sutra, the pace when it's very tight knit, because we often recite hiking sutra very quickly, it's slightly different from other sutras. I'm specifically talking about hiking sutra. So Grandmaster has taught us to keep silent for 2 counts after each name to allow the name to imprint on our hearts. So this will allow us to focus on the virtues of this Buddha. For example, when thinking about medicine, master, Vaidya-like Buddha, like King Buddha, or Samadhi-like Buddha, I and all sentient beings will hope that our Samadhi power is immovable. We can generate the light of Samadhi. And the next line about below, down below, you need to find the words that resonate with you the most, the virtue of that Buddha Bodhisattva that resonates with you most, and focus on it for a little moment. So, 下方善记. So you can pause a little bit. I like to 善住 is like dwelling in the virtue or wholesomeness.
无量诸佛、多宝佛、释迦牟尼佛、弥勒佛、阿处佛，刚好这里
Buddha, Buddha, Precious
你要找
Buddha,
到两个
Shakyamuni
字，
Buddha.
去把它
You
印
have to
在心
find the
上，
words that
你这样念
you
它
can
就会
imprint
好。
upon your heart, and then this will allow you to focus
在
your mind
拜
so that
忏的时
there
候，
will
我们
not
是不
be
是也有
discursive
礼
thoughts.
佛？是不是
And
忏
when
悔礼
we
或者下忏
prostrate
跪？
to Buddha's
同
Bodhisattvas,
样的，我们
there
唱
we
礼
also
拜的时候，
pay
我们
homage. When
抓
we
两个
sing it
字来
very
观想。
quickly, we
唱
try to
习惯，这
catch
一般有
onto
8
two
拍、10
words
拍、
that
12拍，各
we
种都
can
说对，但基
latch
本是8
onto
拍。
that will
那
allow
8 拍
us
节
to
比较
focus our
难
minds.
唱，因为一
Sometimes
点
there are different
再深入一点，用他的德相来
uh,
导入心。刚刚是摄
counts.
心，
Just now
拍
was
的时候
about
摄
focusing the
心，让我
mind
们心不要跑掉。拍子比
to
较
not
简
let it
单，
run
就
away or
放
to
到我们
not
的
let our
心
minds
上。比如
wander
说，那我
and
们才能
quickly
够
imprint our words
对你
on our
德相
minds.
入了心，你才有办法
When
对佛法产
when
生
their
赞
virtues
叹
are
的忏
imprinted
悔。比
on
如
our
说，
minds, then we can generate
里
reverence
面有很
and
多佛号
then
是
be
清净
inspired to
佛、
repent
后
before them.
佛，或者是什么智慧的佛，对不
So
对？
sometimes we
我们就
read
要省察自己。那时候8拍时
the
间
names of
第
Buddhas
3
that
页的
are
位
we
置，
read many names of
我
Buddhas.
有垢然，我有无明，
I
我属
have
于垢，
defilements,
我
I
的
have
无明很
ignorance.
重，
My ignorance is
所
very
以我
deep.
除了仰慕
So
赞叹诸
I
尊
not
佛罗
only
菩萨，
look
我
up
也
to
发露
these
忏
Buddhist
悔，我要
bodhisattvas, but
希
I
望
also repent
自己
before
可以成
them. I
为
also
诸
hope
尊菩
that
萨，
I can be
这叫
like these
学佛。
Buddhas
学
bodhisattvas.
佛，
This
我
is
们也是用
called
实践
learning from the
去做，
Buddhas.
对不对？
And not only that, we have to
唱
put
名亦
the
可
teachings into
去抓
practice.
2个字，也就是他的
So
德
when
相，
chanting,
让
you
音
try to
声
latch
不要
onto maybe
空
the
洞，
virtue of the
对不
Buddha
对？
so that your sound is
心
not
也
empty
会
or
一
hollow,
起起作
and
用。
you can
OK， 再
you
来
can
我们
truly
开
give
始。
rise to the
今天还
function
会不多
of
时间
reciting
讲
their name.
赞
So
叹唱诵，
today's session will be
常见
extended
的
maybe for
偏
10
差是什
minutes.
么？手
Another
相、
common
字
deviation
声相，
is that
这什么意思？大家
what
是
does
不
this
是
mean?
香赞跟清净
Does
赞唱
everyone,
2、
when
3、
you
10年，
sing
是
the
吗？
incense
大
praise,
家
when
会
in
不会
praise of
唱
the pure,
？OK， 请
Luxiang
问
Zan or Qingqing Zan? A
和
lot of
尚
people
赞
know
叹
how to
怎么发
sing
出？
this, but what
不对，
exactly
我
is the
先问大家一
incense
个，
praise,
你
praising
有
or
发出
no?
赞
I
叹
should
的
first
心
ask,
吗？
do you really give rise to
有
a
的
heart
举手给大家看
praise?
一
If
下。
you do, please raise your hand to let everyone
好，
see.
有没有发出赞叹的心？第2个，
Do you
你
give
知道你在
rise
赞
to
叹什
a
么吗？
mind of reverence? And number 2, do you
如
know
果
what
你
you're
如
praising?
何称得上是
If
赞
you
叹？只有
don't,
声音，
then how can it be
只有
called
声音而已，
praise?
没有
There
心
is
意，我
only
就不晓得
sound,
我要
but
赞
there
叹
is
什么，
no heart
是
or
不是？
mind
赞叹
because you
只
don't know
有
what you are
声，
praising.
形式显
So
出，
it's
但是没
not,
有赞叹，只有声响。
it's empty.
OK，
There's only sound, there's only the aspect or
我们来看
appearance
这
of
个
sound.
下一还是这一
The
页
next
，sorry， 还是这一
are,
页那个，不好意
okay,
思。
let me keep to the
法
slide.
义总摄，赞记之3用。所以我们刚讲，第一个要赞
The
叹，就
three
是要赞
functions
叹，
of a
也许
praise
因为
first.
佛菩萨也有
First,
不
we
同
are
的赞词，
praising
我
the
们就是第一个要
virtues
赞叹他
of
的
the
德
Buddha's
相，也就
Bodhisattvas.
是下面写的先
Their
明所
merits.
赞。你知道要赞叹他的
First,
德相，
understand
第
what
2
we
他
are
的德
praising.
相是什么？
Then,
你要用
2,
他的德
you
相去入声
from their
听法，
virtue, merit,
这个
we
就会变
enter
得
the
早
sound,
醒，因为你
and
真
then
心
it
实
becomes
意的
invocation
赞
because
叹他，
you are
就可以变
sincerely
成早起。最
praising
后
their
再
virtues and
发
merits.
愿做
And
愿
then
心所赞。
finally, give
所
rise
以
to
待会我们后
aspiration
面讲的就是会有这
to
3点：
conclude.
先明所赞，以德相
So
入声，以
these
愿
3
心所
steps,
摄，来
first,
看到底是
understand
要
what
怎
you
样。
are praising. Then from their virtues and merits, enter into the sound, and
好，
then
对，如相赞。好，如相赞赞叹什么？
conclude with a mind of aspiration or how. So
这是
what
一个，
exactly is the
这个
incense
叫
praise
宝抓
praising?
句，赞叹香，有没有？
It
香赞，
is
所以叫
extolling the
赞叹
virtues
香。
of
好，
praise.
你知道要赞叹
We
香， 那你到底
okay, we
要
know
赞
that
叹
it is
香的
praising
什么，
incense, but what about
才
incense
可
that we
以
are praising?
没有不空过，对不对？好，我们讲如
How
香
can
赞
we
就是
sing this so
炉
that
香
it's not
加热。
empty or hollow?
好，一开始我们做供养点香的时候，法界
Buddhism
普宣，
Charat. So
清
when
净
we
功
light
德
the
愿力
incense,
普宣十方法界，诸佛海会西遥闻都知道了我们 们在做
So
供养，
we
知道我们的诚心。随处结祥云，香呢成了很多的云，
So the incense is now lit, suffusing the Dharma realms. It forms a lot of spirals of incense smoke, suffusing the Dharma realms. And this, with utmost sincerity, then the invocation is not empty or hollow. So all Buddhas manifest in their full form, and they come to receive our offering. The fragrant clouds of incense are like a canopy across that pervades the Dharma realms. So if you're offering incense but your minds are discursive, if your mind is scattered and you're thinking discursive thoughts like thinking about your girlfriend, boyfriend, or other strange random thoughts, then you are not able to convey your intent properly. When we are praising incense, it's not just about the outer form, this stick of incense, but you are also lighting that inner incense, the incense of your heart. Your mind, your thought, how strong is it? Is it able to pervade the Dharma realms, to fill the cosmos? Is the incense of your heart, how far can it reach? That mind of offering, how is it universal? It's this incense of the mind is not just pervasive and universal, but because of your sincerity, it is able to give rise to various kinds of offerings in the incense, and it is able to lead to accomplishment, to cause the Buddhas to manifest their full form through your utmost sincerity. So this is praising the virtues of incense, the inner incense of your mind, and not let it be just an empty praise. And next, in praise of the pure, if maybe you have some of you have sung it for 30 years, have you truly do you truly give rise to praise, or do you just sing the melody? What exactly is it praising? So now people, you're smarter now, you know that it's praising the pure. It is praising the three bodies of the Buddha, the Dharma body or Dharmakaya, the hundreds of billions of So now we know that it's talking about the three kinds of bodies, the Buddhas, the reward body is the Sambhogakaya, and the emanation body is the Nirmanakaya. So just now we were talking about the pure Dharma body and also the perfect reward body. The problem is you're not truly able to praise its purity. I'm not able to give rise to line of reverence, praise, even though I know it. Then you might start to reflect on yourself. The purity of the Dharma body departed from the defilements, but us, our karma, transgressions of our body, speech, and mind, we have a lot of defilements or contaminants. So then you realize that purity is very difficult. The pure Dhamma body, replete in blessings and wisdom. What kind of aspirations have we given rise to? Have we actually carried them out? Have we actualized our aspirations of vows? Some people, like even myself, in October, I promised or agreed to promise Master Lian He that I would do this class or course, but I sat too long and I became very tired, just kept doing and doing. So our actions and our aspiration, are there very far away from perfection, fulfillment. And next, when we talk about the hundreds of billions of emanation bodies of Shakyamuni Buddha, how many sentient beings has he delivered? How many sentient beings have we taught or delivered or guided? And next, virtuous aspect. We need to latch onto these virtues as a way for us to focus. First, praise the extol the virtues of birth. Who wants to come into the Sahara world? There's the four suffering, the four kinds of suffering of birth, aging, old age, death, birth, old age, sickness, and death. It's so many afflictions, so many kinds of suffering. So the Buddhas, when you hit a challenge, you give up, you don't want to do it anymore. But with persistence, because you have made that commitment, then you make the promise to carry it out because of the power of your aspiration, and you also aspire to depart from contaminants. You pray that you have that bodhicitta to help sentient beings. The next part, because it's already 9:06, I will just skip it, briefly say it. Kishigarba's praise. You know every single word in this praise, but you're not able to give rise to a mind of reverence or praise. This is the crux of the problem. If you're not able to truly generate that mind of praise, then it's equivalent to not praising. If you want to give rise to praise, then you need to look at the sutras that are related to Kshitrapa Sutra. For instance, the Buddha told Manjushri Bodhisattva about all of these grains of sands in the Ganges rivers are a world, and in each world, how many kalpas the 3,000-fold worlds count as countless as the grains of sand. So the number of sentient beings that Kshitrapa Bodhisattva has delivered is countless, it's innumerable, it's beyond comprehension. So we have to find methods to allow us to generate that true mind of praise and reverence. So in this lesson, we're talking about how do we use Fan Yin to invoke. First, to remember that Fan Yin is not apart from our minds. How pure our minds or hearts are, it will generate pure sound. It will result in how pure the sound is. Whether you are reciting, chanting, or singing, we need to allow our sound to become a condition or to be substantial or solid, not let each sound be hollow or empty. When we sing through melodic chanting, like you sing a love song or sing a supplication or praise, it allows us to evoke true emotion, sincerity, authentic mind. When we recite mantra, we need to first visualize clearly and then chant mantra. We need to make sure our visualizations are solid, substantial. Don't dab soy sauce. You need to allow your mind to focus, gather your thoughts so that it's not scattered, and pay attention to the sound of the mantra, to the frequency of the mantra. Is it resonating? Is it vibrating the same frequency to awaken our Buddha nature? So the main point of mantra recitation is to awaken our Buddha nature. So why is there such a thing as accomplishment through mantra chanting? The next point about chanting praises, we need to know what we're praising. You're not letting your minds run away or wander when you chant the Hiking Sutra. Similarly for repentance ritual ceremonies, we need to praise the virtues, the wisdom of the Buddha's Bodhisattvas, and then generate that mind of repentance. Because the repentance are it's usually longer. It allows you more time um to generate that mind or intention. So in any case, spiritual cultivation, its focus is about cultivation of the mind. If you don't use your heart, your mind, your deepest consciousness, there is no functional effect. So when you chant mantras, you don't let it become empty or hollow and chant it too quickly or negligently. If what I have spoken is too deep, then listen to Grandmaster's books, especially the articles about inner sound or mantra chant, book 49, about uh, Brahma sound, and then the other one about book. So one is book 49, one is book 60. Brahma sound is the sound of the lake. If you read it once, it might not be sufficient for you to digest it. You might need to read it several times for it to really become imprinted in your heart to truly understand its meaning. And that is the end of today's class. 阿弥陀佛。阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛。Thank you, Master Lian Wei, for your very rich, rewarding class. And now we come to the question and answer segment. I saw many questions in the chat. So now let's look at the slides, look at the questions. This Dharma sibling asked, may I ask, what is 意识之能, which is the power of the consciousness? Master Lian Wei replies, 意识之能 refers to the power or the energy generated from our consciousness. So when we recite mantra, not just mantra sound, our consciousness needs to give rise to its function, to give rise to a power or energy that will awaken our Buddha nature. I wonder if the Dharma sibling is able to understand. It's not, it might be a little difficult to understand, but this is what I mentioned. You might need to read Grandmaster's article on this topic and then slowly understand and absorb and digest. The next question. May I ask, inner sound, do we need to use our diaphragm to vibrate? Beginners are not able to have vibrations at the diaphragm level because this is not about inner practices yet. So when we talk about mantra chanting, inner sound, what does it refer to? The sounds of our brain waves, the sound of the blood flowing through our veins in our bodies. It moves by itself. The brain frequencies are the movement of our blood fluids, not necessarily related to our diaphragms. If you are using your diaphragms to vibrate or but of course, if you're able to use your mind more deeply, then it will be able to generate a greater energy. So the most important point is the brain, your mind. The next question is about, can we play mantra music or mantra sounds recited by Grandmaster? Of course. A lot of times the people leading the group cultivation sessions are not aligned with Grandmaster's pronunciation. Sounds need to be aligned with Grandmaster's sound. Let me just example. The fourfold refuge. Grandmaster reads it that way. The person reads it. Grandma says yeah, but a lot of people pronounce as yeah. So the sound is already different. Grandmaster's pronunciation is very important. Listen more, and it will be able to be aligned with your own brain waves or frequencies. You can't just listen and then just do your own thing. because your consciousness would not be engaged. It has to participate.
谢谢。深蓝子师兄的第三个问题，
The next question,
播放是
when
更
we
轻松的，
recite Kishigava
会
Sutra,
比较好吗？
is it better to play the version recited by Grandmaster? I should put it this way. This is sutra, it's not mantra. So mantra has its frequency, its sonic frequencies. But when you play the video record, the audio recordings of Grandmaster reciting the Kishigava Sutra, it still has a good effect because it will allow us to enter into his aura. It's still better than because one day when you are reciting the Kishigava Sutra, but you don't have Grandmaster's version of Kishigava Sutra, his voice will appear in your mind. When you don't have, even when you don't play the recording, that sound will appear in your mind.
谢谢。第四个问题，
Okay, thank you.
在
The
白
next
事
question,
诵
question
经
4,
咒念时，
and
带领
funerary
者念
chanting,
诵拓
I show
快，
white
参与咒念的
white
同
matters.
文都
Funerary
跟不
chant.
上，这
The
样可以吗？
Dharma siblings are not able to follow along. Is this okay? This is when I was 30 years old. I made similar problems because I learned speed reading. So I read it so quickly and I didn't care at all. So then when I realized how terrible it was. I read it so quickly, then someone passed away at home, family member. And I wanted my family member to recite alone. Someone who's older passed away and they are children. Also, if they are able to recite along, the decedent would be more willing to recite along. So, lesson later on, I would talk about how to lead a group session. If you do it too quickly, negligently, or carelessly, then it's actually a great transgression because we're leading everyone, not just. I read it so quickly and it feels good, so I read it very fast. You are leading the masses, the beings, fellow Dharma practitioners.
一切，
So
不管你持咒、诵经，
you have to quickly
一
correct
切
this.
的
So
音，
whether
一切
reciting
的
mantra,
心气，
reciting sutra,
更
all
好的
sounds they should
这
truly
种
arise
摄
from
众
the
的
heart, the
安
mind,
众生的
to
心。
generate that kind of power to
今
focus
天的11节
together the
话
minds of sentient
就到
of
此为
beings or
止。
participants. That is the end of
还有
today's
任何
question and answer
可以
segment. If you
到
have
群组
other
里面和
questions, you can post them in the
来为
group
大家
chats
回
or
答。
the WhatsApp chats, chat groups, or you can raise your hands. Those who recite mantras, regarding the articles, Grandmaster's article about mantra chanting or inner sound, if you do you understand, you can raise your hand. If you don't understand, you can read the article again or go over the materials so that you will know that the emphasis should be on the sound instead of the meaning of the mantra. Then you might want to whack yourself awake. Like, what have I been doing the past 30 years? How do we use sound to awaken the deities or invoke them? The emphasis is on substantial solid chanting, and
非常感
it
恩
needs to be
两位
solid
上师
instead of
非
empty or
常
hollow.
精彩的授
So
课。
let us
这些
give,
放榜的
let us
知
thank
识确
Master
实
Lian
是
Wei
非
for
常
her
的深奥
teaching.
的，不
These
是那
are very
么好懂。
profound teachings, not so easy
我
to
也在认真
understand.
的听，重
And
点是
I'm also
跟大
listening,
家分
paying
享一
attention,
下
and made
今
some
天
notes.
记录的重点
Some
内
of
容。
the
我学习到的，
notes that I
一
took
心
are
咒
what I
与
learned.
持咒
One
者之
is
心
that
的关系。
the
咒音
mantra's
因为是
connection
反
with
映
the
持咒
state
者
of
的
our
心
minds.
念，所以
It's a
叫心
reflection
咒。
of our inner
心
state.
咒让
So
心
that's
可以
why
得
it's
到
called
深
heart
度的体
mantras.
验。
And it will
那
allow
天
us to
呢，
gain a deeper
我们自然
understanding of
学到
the
了第三
mantras.
配
And
有
also
正
we
的
learned
方式，佛菩萨
why
就
do
容易
we
下降，
need to
因为音乐容易
use
激
melodic
励
chanting
内
to
心
invoke
的
because
情感。
mantra music is
佛菩萨
able to
都会
evoke
引
emotion.
起，当我们通
And
过唱诵，将
Buddhist
情感
Bodhisattvas
召
will
唤
deliver
起来，
sentient beings when we
会
use
更容易
emotion to
招引佛菩萨
invoke
升
them.
起。
It will more
第
easily
三
be able
个
to
我学
invoke
到的
them
重
to
点是，
descend. The third thing I
持
learned,
咒
the
不
third key
是
point
向
is
外求
mantra
感应，
chanting is not
实
praying
际
about
这种
praying
梵
for
音去觉醒我们
spiritual
原本
responses, but
清
it's
净的真
using
心。
mantra, a fun in to
重点是
awaken our inner
正确
selves,
持咒
our
的
Buddha nature,
心要，
and
这个非
correct
常重要。
mantra
可以
chanting.
说今天莲会上师给我
Um,
们非常重要的，我们
can
在
we say the
实
most
际中
important point
持咒、
that we
诵
can
经、禅
actualize
课
in
的
our
一些
chanting? A
错
lot
误
of
和偏差，
the
真的很
mistakes
感
or
谢莲的指导，
shortcomings in
非
our
常
mantra
感恩。
chanting.
你刚讲
She
的
has
那几个
corrected
偏
us
差，有的人举手好
that
吗？那些
few
有的是我自己的经
transgressions.
验，有的是我看
Some
到
of those are my
确
own
实是也有这
personal
些问题，这些罪
experiences.
业
Some of them
不
are
要害
what I've
怕，
observed.
你就有
So
的
don't
话，你
be
就举手
afraid
让我知道
that
我
if
自己
you
曾经
have
有
made
这
that
些问
mistake,
题，不
then
是只有我有问题，
we
你们都没有问题。
没有，肯
is
定
it
大
is
家
it
都
just
会
us
有的，
that I have
是
made that
特别
these
是持
mistakes,
咒的
or
关
do
系，
all of you don't
很
have
容
these
易会一
mistakes?
边观想一
Um,
边持咒，
so a lot of
是因为
people
我在
will
书上看
simultaneously
到的。
visualize
没有懂，这就是
together
这
with
样。
mantra chanting. So a lot of times
这
we
是这
might
样，我们有
hear
看到的
Grandmaster
都
teach
是这
or
样的。
say, but we don't
那
really
有没有关系？
comprehend
没
or
有
fully
关系，
understand,
有，但是
internalize the
没有懂。
teachings. We
你没
read
有注
his
意到，
we read
你
his
可能
articles,
就
but do we pay
是往
attention
错的
to
方
what he
向去
truly
理
meant?
解。
And we still keep making the same mistake over and over
没有
again
关系，
for 20, 30
这
years.
个不管
It's
我讲
truly
的
a
对或
shame.
错，你
So
们要去看
with
世尊的文集，
whether
以世尊的
you have
开
to
示
read
为主，
Grandmaster's
讲
teachings
话。
for yourself, and um,
好，我们进入
Grandmaster's
了上
teaching
师
is
今天
still
讲
the
的重
main
点，我们要很
guiding
认真的先观想好，
guidance
观
that we
想清
follow.
楚，然后
So we need to
再
visualize
进行
first,
持咒，
visualize
还有
very
练
clearly
习。
before we
当然，
start
大家一
begin
定
our
会有
mantra
各自
chanting.
不一样的收获。
And of
我们
course,
也
we
欢迎
all
大
have
家
our own
在我们
rewards
的
from
读书
today's
会
lesson, and
和
we
大家
welcome
一起
everyone
分
to
享。
share your own insights or
今
realizations
天的
in
课
the
程
various
圆
group
满结束，
WhatsApp
我们
groups.
感恩
And
两位
that's the
上师
end
的
of
精彩
our
授
today's
课，
class.
也
We
感恩我
thank
们的英语
Master
上
Liang
人，感
Wei
恩老
for
师，
for her
并
very
以我
rewarding
们陪
and
分助
rich
教， 感
teaching.
恩
And
所
we also
有
thank
幕后
Grandmaster
默默
Senpei
付出
Fen on
的
the
义工
Indonesian
及其他
interpretation
单位，
channel, as
谢
well
谢，
as the
谢谢所有
TBSOU
在
backend
Zoom、
team, all
YouTube、
the volunteers helping
Facebook
out
上
behind the
听到
scenes,
莲花
and
课
all the
程。
drama siblings, for
现在
students
请
paying
大家稍微
attention
整理一下您的
across
衣
the
服
various
和发
channels, so
型，
YouTube,
我
Facebook,
们倒数
and
一
so
下，
on.
好，
And
进
maybe
入
tidy your
跟莲
hair, and
花
let's
上
turn on
师
your
一起
video
合
camera,
张
and let's
来
take a
到
group
赞美
photo
时
with
间。
Master Lian Wei.
请打开您的摄像头。
Please turn on your video
希望
camera.
大家都可以
Let
持
me
续成长。
interrupt, and we
好，
hope
好，
that everyone
我们
will
开始
be
大
able
数
to attain accomplishment and mantra
10、
chanting. Okay, let's count down from 10,
9、
9,
8、
8,
7、
7,
6、
6,
5、
5,
4、
4,
3、
3,
2、
2,
1。
1.
好了吗？后台。
Okay,
好，
is that
谢
done?
谢，
All
感
right.
恩上
Thank
师，
you.
谢
Thank you,
谢您
everyone.
的
Thank you,
参
Master
与。
Liang
现
Wei.
在
Thank you,
大家
everyone,
可
for
以
your
打开麦
participation.
克风，跟
And you
我
can
们
now
的
turn on
莲
your
花上师
microphones
说
to
再见。
say
大家可以
farewell
在
to
莲花
Master
车
Liang.
上
谢谢
和
上
我们
Okay,
师，
you
的
can also
感谢
type
上
in the
师，
chat.
莲花
好，
上师的
休息
精彩授课。
啦。
谢谢上师。
谢谢上师，
谢谢上师，阿弥陀佛，谢上师，
谢谢上师
上师
精彩授课。
精彩的授课，
谢谢上师。
我顺便提醒大家一下哈，
分享。
现在那个我的那个
Just
教
a
材
quick
哈，
reminder
我
to
的教材
everyone.
是大
The
学生
regard. Let me make an announcement.
顺便提醒大家一下哈，现在那个我的那个教材哈，
谢谢那位上
还在
师。
改，
Okay,
之后会把200
so
放上去给大家。
sorry, there are some changes regarding the class notes, and the updated versions will be uploaded onto the various channels.
祝大家期末成就
谢谢
哦！
你们，
哦，
谢谢大
阿弥陀
家，
佛，阿弥陀佛。
谢谢佛，
下个星期五没有上课，
谢
大家不要忘记。但是
下礼
我们
拜没有上课哦，哈，对，
谢助教们，
记得来网络同
是啦，
修啊。
讲师哈，但是要来网络同修。
对的，
讲师有讲哦，没有去西雅图了就要来网络同修哈。
对的。
OK， 好，晚安，大家休息了哈，好，拜
谢谢
拜。
上司，拜
好，
拜。
晚
谢谢上师，拜拜，谢谢上师。
好，阿弥陀佛。好，但是要来网络同修。
谢谢上师，谢谢上师。
好，讲师助教，谢谢，拜拜，义工，谢谢哈。大家休息了哈，
谢谢上师，拜拜，上师拜拜，
好，拜拜，晚安，
晚安。
谢谢上，谢谢大家，阿婆，拜拜。